Hello. Today I am cooking for my cycle. I am currently on my menstrual phase, and so I am cooking accordingly. Today I'm making pork chops with potatoes and beets. Beets are really good. Pork is really good for you when you're on your cycle. So I'm going to boil some potatoes and some beets, and then I'm going to pan fry them so that they're nice and crispy. And then I'm going to make pork chops with a mushroom sauce, which mushrooms are also really, really good for balancing your hormones when you are on your cycle. So I'm trying to get these beets and potatoes roughly the same size so that they cook evenly. I'm sure these beets are going to dye the potatoes, which is going to be interesting. I'm going to have, I guess I could have gotten purple potatoes, but I wanted golden potatoes because I like the way they taste. So I've got boiling water in the back boiling. I've got my cast iron heating up. My pork is already seasoned. And then as soon as I'm done with these beets, I'll drop them, and then I'll start cutting my onion while the pork chops cook off. I'm in a little bit of a hurry today because I wanted to get this done before I pick up my daughter from daycare, but I promised her an obstacle course when she comes home. So I'm trying to get this done so that I can make a small obstacle course for her. But if it doesn't happen, then her and I can make an obstacle course together. So. I hear my water boiling. So again, I'm just cutting. I've got one more beet to cut. I like that my grocery store I can get my beets without all the greens, because sometimes I feel like I'm wasting the greens from the beets, which I guess I could cook them off and eat them or juice them. Wonder how that would taste. Yes, it's beetroot. You're under mental health? Okay. Sounds good. All right, so I'm gonna drop my beets and my potatoes into the water so that they can boil and soften so that when I cook them off, they get nice and crispy and they cook faster. And then I'm just gonna bring you with me because I'm also gonna drop my pork in a second. So I'm gonna put these in. All right, cool. Turn that heat down so it doesn't overflow. All right, my cast iron is hot, cranking up the heat. Get some oil. Grab my tongs, remove hair. Which dishes am I? So I am making like a pork chop with like a mushroom sauce. So I'm gonna cook off my pork chops and I'm gonna brown them on both sides. And then I will cook off my mushrooms and onions. And then I'll put the pork back in and it'll simmer and cook all the way through. Trying to get all of them to fit. All right. Cooking is all about multitasking. So while those are cooking off, I'm gonna come back over here and I'm gonna start chopping my onions and my mushrooms. Usually when I'm meal prepping, I'm making a bunch of meals for the week, but since I'm already on, what, day 4 of my cycle, I'm just making one dish because I've had other stuff in my fridge that correspond with my being on my menstrual cycle. So I've been eating that instead, but I need more food, so I thought I would come on here and share a nice meal that corresponds with eating for your hormones. So for the past couple of weeks, I've been going live and specifically cooking and doing recipes to promote healthy hormones during the different phases of my cycle. And within those couple of weeks alone, my cycle went from a like 33 to 22 day cycle to like a 28 day cycle. So eating for your hormones, like, it really does help, really does help. This onion is being difficult. There we go. Discard pile. All right. So I've just recently been getting back into cooking for my cycle. The first time I started this journey was almost 4 years ago now. No, shoot, maybe 5 years ago. And the intention was to even out my hormones so that I could get pregnant, because I was trying to have a baby. And wouldn't you know, within 2 months, so I was eating for my cycle and I was able to regulate my cycles. And within the second month of having a regular 28-day cycle, I got pregnant. So for anyone with PCOS out there, I highly suggest a book called Woman Code, where it talks about, you know, women's cycles, ailments that we have like PCOS and endometriosis, and what you can do, because when you go to the doctor, the medical system, they're like, oh, we don't know. We've only ever tested things about women on men, so we don't know. I highly suggest this book. It was very liberating. It helped me so much. And now I have a beautiful, healthy child. Because when I was diagnosed with PCOS, I thought it was like a sentence that I would never, ever get pregnant. And it's not true. Use the food and have it work for you. All right, now I'm done chopping this. I'm going to flip over my pork and brown the other side of it. Okay, that looks nice. I need to get out my freezer garlic. Because that I will need. Alright, so let's see here. I'm going to put this back over there for the pork. I'm going to grab a bowl for the rest, or a plate. A bowl for all of this, because this will go in next after I pull out that pork. And the mushrooms. Those will all go in together. Not bad, not bad. Nearly 15 minutes in. I'm working off of a recipe card that I had from a long time ago, and I did not put how much liquid I need to put in. It just says chicken stock. So I'm just going to assume 3 cups of chicken stock. We're just going to use bouillon because why not? And then I can add it in bit by bit. If I need more, I can just gauge that out. Garlic. Freezer garlic. Coffee to get me going. And about 2 tablespoons of garlic. There's 1. Yeah, don't fall. There's 2. The last time I was on my cycle, I made myself a soup, and I made so much of it, I was able to freeze it. So for this part of my cycle, I was able to pull out a soup from the freezer, and I had to do less cooking. Okay. Salt and pepper. Cool. Well, how about you jump up and down and make a helicopter for me? So original. Alright, I'm going to turn down the heat a little bit because we want low and slow. Oh, don't tease me. What do you mean maybe you will? Oh, you gotta do it. Do it. I'll see you. I'm psychic. I'll see you. Hello, princesses family. Add a little bit more oil, salt and pepper. You love the lipstick, thank you. Alright, we'll have that cooked down. We'll add some thyme. Yes, they are. Indeed they are. And we got some rosemary. We're gonna work that in. Thank you. So, I don't know how loud that is for you. But I am making pork chops with mushrooms and onions. And I am specifically cooking for my cycle. There are 4 phases of your cycle. Right now I am on my menstrual cycle. And so I am cooking foods that promote the hormones that my body needs in order. That's so funny. As soon as I said menstrual cycle, I went from 4 to like 1. But to promote the hormones that I need for my body in order to have a regular cycle, because I have PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. And people who have PCOS, it can go, there's so many different types of it. When I was first diagnosed at 21, I was only getting a cycle every 3 months. And so I constantly was like, am I pregnant? I'm not pregnant. I can't be pregnant. And when I went to the doctor, they were trying to tell me at 21 years old that I was premenopausal. I was 21. And that began a journey of PCOS. And it wasn't until around, geez, my goodness, till I was like 29, I guess, where I started really getting into it, because I wanted to have a baby. And so I started researching how to help my PCOS, and eating for my cycle is what I found to do. So I'm making pork chops with onions and mushrooms. When you're on your menstrual cycle, pork, mushrooms, beets are really healthy to promote the hormones that you need. So I've got beets and potatoes boiling off over here. I'm softening them up because I'm going to pan fry them. And if they're softer, they'll pan fry. They're already cooked through, so they'll pan fry and get really crispy. And then I'm going to put the pork over the beets and potatoes, and I think that'll be a really delicious meal. And who knows, maybe I can get my toddler to eat it. So far, the meals that I've been making, she has been trying, so. So I'm going to check my potatoes right now and see if they are cooked through. I imagine they are. Not quite. My beets are not quite cooked through. Let's check the potato. Well, my potato's cooked through, but we're going to cook it just a little bit longer because those beets are not done yet. So as these mushrooms and onions cook off, I'm going to add some garlic. I've already got my aromatics in there. What else do I need? Butter, salt, pepper. Okay. I'm just going to... Oh, you have it too, and you got the diagnosis last year, and they got you pills to force your period to start every 3 months, but the cramps are crazy. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you finally got a diagnosis. When you are eating for your cycle, is it endometriosis or PCOS? Because I know, like, with endometriosis, yes, though I've not experienced that, but I know those cramps are hell. They're crazy. It can make you physically sick. It's just, I know it's just not, it's no bueno. But I have found when you, I also switched over from using tampons to a menstrual cup. And when I started using a menstrual cup, that absolutely alleviated cramps. And then also eating for my cycle. I want to suggest to you PCOS. Look up the book on Amazon. It's called Woman Code. That really, really helped me when I was diagnosed. And funnily enough, at the time, the suggestion for the book I got from Teal Swan, which I know is controversial, but she did not write the book. She was recommending the book, and I mean, it changed a lot of things for me. I was also, while I was eating for my cycle, I was also intermittent fasting, and I was finally able to lose weight. I know, right? Okay, cool. Good for you. Good for you. Yeah, because I know it can be such a struggle for women who have PCOS to lose weight. And so once I started intermittent fasting, eating for my cycle to promote the hormones that my body needs, I was eating one meal a day. I was satisfied with all the nutrients I was getting, and I was losing weight quickly. I also had a really nice yoga regimen that I was doing every day, and I was walking a couple of miles every day as well. And it just was melting off of me. So I'm trying to get back. I've had a couple of hiccups in life since then. At that point, I wasn't trying. I mean, I was trying to get pregnant, but like, I wasn't trying to. And then all of a sudden I was pregnant. All right. So next I'm going to toss in some butter because these are cooked down enough. And I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. And if you don't have Worcestershire sauce, you can do soy sauce. I'm supposed to do a 1/4 teaspoon of lemon juice, but I do not have that and I need acid, so I'm just going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of vinegar instead, just to get that acid. Okay, and I need sugar, and I'm going to use fake sugar. How much do I need? I need a 1/4 teaspoon. I'm just going to use artificial sugar or stevia. It's about a 1/4 teaspoon. And then what else do I need? I need a dash of hot sauce. Get that all nice and thick. Let that cook down. And next I'm going to put my pork chops back in, and then I will pour over my chicken stock. And then the pork chops, they will cook in the chicken stock, and they will be nice and tender. Put all those juices back in. On my recipe card, I did not put how much chicken broth to put in, so I'm just guessing. And I'm going to do about, let's see here, until my pan is full, I guess, which was 2 cups. I'm just going to do 2 cups. And I'm going to bring up the heat so that it gets to a simmer, and then as soon as it starts bubbling, I'll turn the heat down. Now I'm going to drain my potatoes and my beets. Did anyone ever watch Doug? Doug Funny? And the band that he liked, I think that they were called the Beats. Okay. Now I'm gonna pan fry these. Let's see here. What was it called? Oh my god, I really needed this convo. I'm 25 now and I'm considering a gastric bypass to help me lose weight and like yes, absolutely, losing weight is so damn hard, for real. And I was just looking at my facial hair today. I was like, girl. But the most heartbreaking thing is not being able to be pregnant. Like, I want a little kid so bad with my now husband since 2018. So, again, I really hope this helps you. I would, like I said, I suggest getting that book because it helped me so much. I started trying to get pregnant in 2017. I took my IUD out, and it took me until, it took me until 2021 to finally get pregnant. And I think the best advice I got, I was helping my friend's mother, who's an OBGYN, and I was helping her clean her garage. And she said to me, Teresa, just 5 pounds will help immensely. Just losing 5 pounds will already heighten your chances of getting pregnant with PCOS. And so I was like, okay, all right, I can do 5 pounds. 5 pounds is achievable. And so I was like, all right, I got into intermittent fasting. I had a lot of support from my sister with that because she was doing it too. And turning my heat down on the pork chops because it's simmering now. And the next thing I know, I lost 5 pounds, and then I was down 30 pounds. And then I think that took me about 3 months. And then after those 3 months, my cycles started regulating. And after the second normal cycle, I was pregnant. But also at that point, I didn't want to get pregnant anymore. And of course, I always hear, it's so annoying. But I hate how it was true, that if you want it so bad, it's not going to happen. And the moment that I finally was like, gave up, it happened. And I didn't have to do anything. But I also have told myself, if I can't lose the weight through eating, and this next time around and really make it stick, I'm definitely going to do gastric bypass. There's nothing wrong with it. It will help. And you fucking deserve it. You deserve it. If you're trying this hard to be a mom and you care that much, you are the person who needs to be a mom. Because with my full chest, I believe that there are some people who just do not appreciate being a parent. And we need more people who actually want to be a parent. The name of the book is called The Woman Code. Intermittent fasting. Okay, so if you would like, there is an app called Simple, 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 and it is an app for intermittent fasting. And so what they say typically with women for intermittent fasting is that what you do with it is you have an 8-hour window where you eat, and you eat meals throughout that 8 hour, and then you have a 16-hour window where you're fasting. And that's usually where they have people start out on. Now, for me, I had started out at that window, and then I started doing like a 4-hour window of eating, and then a 20-hour window of fasting. And so within that, this was why it was such a trip for me getting pregnant. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, the Simple app. It really, really helped because you can, for me, it's a little triggering to log my food because I've dealt with, what's it called? Binge eating. And so sometimes it doesn't really help me to log my food. But what I really liked about intermittent fasting is that, especially when I was able to get down to that 4-hour window, is all I had to do was make one good eating choice a day. One good eating choice. And I was like, okay. And then the next thing I knew, my body was looking forward to that one choice, was looking forward. Yeah. I'm so sorry. It gets better. It gets better when it's like the veil is off of your eyes when you start reading that book, and you are like, okay, this is doable. I like this. This is my food chart, and I really enjoy cooking. So I like to take that food chart and let my imagination run wild. However, though, I will warn you about a culture shock. So I was so used to eating that one meal a day where I had to only make one good choice a day. And then I got pregnant. And the reason why I found out I was pregnant is because I could not maintain my fast anymore. I thought it was a combination of morning sickness and needing to eat because I had, a baby inside of me. And so I struggled with my first trimester, and I definitely was overeating because I was not prepared to go from having to make one healthy choice a day to 6 small healthy choices a day. That was really difficult for me. But towards the end, I got there. I was so bound and determined because the medical industry in this country, I don't know where you are, but in America, they do not care about pregnant women. Let alone, not only do they not care about women, but they really don't care about plus size women. They do not. They treat you like, they treat you so horribly, so horribly. And like every time you go in, they weigh you. Thankfully, I had a really awesome midwife who like was like, hey, if you don't want to know how much you weigh, we don't have to tell you. And so, like I said, they constantly were like, because of your weight, we want to prepare you that you probably are going to have gestational diabetes. Like, but gaining weight while pregnant is not an issue for me. Like, I just want my body, my baby. It's okay. Well, exactly. But when you're, so yes. Oh, you're based in Sweden. Okay, so hopefully they treat you way better. Hopefully they treat you way, way better, because here, they're like, oh, you're overweight. They're like, you know, maybe you, yeah, no, it was horrible. I was so distraught by how much weight I was gaining my first trimester, because it's like you're supposed to gain the weight in the second and third, whatever. I was actually looking on like how to lose weight safely while pregnant. It was really, yes, you have great healthcare there. Like I'm so glad. Yes, you'll have a way better time than the torture that is here. But I was so bound and determined to not get gestational diabetes that I, again, like just how I was into intermittent fasting and preparing that one meal a day, I then was able hey, you know what? Being able to talk to you about it while I'm cooking this meal is just, it's really healing. So I appreciate, as much as you appreciate being able to hear about it, I appreciate being able to talk about it. So thank you. Yeah, but I was able to switch it around the other way and really get into the meal planning for having those 6 small meals and snacks a day. And when I went in for my gestational diabetes test, I passed and I did not have it. So, and they were shocked, which was really annoying and rude, but whatever. I did it. Season these. Let's see here. I need to make an Instagram. I do not have an Instagram. But you can email me if you subscribe and you check out, you don't have to subscribe, but you can look and you can email me at thcintuitive222 at gmail.com. You know, I'm a weirdo. I don't know why. I know I need to get an Instagram. But yeah, I've really been trying to come on here every week and do my meal prepping for my cycle. I'm just going to take a fork and poke my